Top WWE star is undergoing a massive character change, plus AEW's star becoming a free agent, and the WWE ID program finally explained. Welcome back to TAS. Let's kick things off with WWE ID. Obviously, it's been confusing for most of us. Triple H actually clarified this on the post-show for Survivor Series. He says there's a lot made of our NIL program and where we do that. There's also a group of men and women that are out there that for whatever reason found their way to professional wrestling, whether it was after college, before college, whatever that is. They went to a different route than college athletes did. We don't want to negate any of them. We're keeping our eye on all of them. The independent scene is very difficult. It's a hard, long road. We're trying to make that easier. We're trying to pay attention to the people at the top of those lists, the people that have the most potential within that grouping. We're going to support them in their careers. Financially, we're going to support them in their careers. From an education standpoint, as they are going through their journey, as long as they are continuing to progress, we stay with them. They send us their matches. We're helping to guide them with what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how they can progress, and how we can make them pros. They can make their way to the Performance Center. There will be some other announcements about content and things we will do with them. It's all geared towards helping those kids as these college athletes get their opportunities to try to make it in this business, that they get their opportunities to also make it in the business. Now, here is the big thing that I absolutely love about Triple H talking about. He says, for whatever reason, if someone is not progressing through the system, changes will be made, but they will continue to do what they can to support the talent coming through the independent circuit. If somebody is working really, really hard and busting their ass every week, and they are progressing and continuing to grow, they stay in our system until it's time for them to outgrow that system. If they are not, we'll make moves and changes, some people around, and we'll get to the people that we feel like that long-term investment can pay off. Not just for us, but for the industry itself. The strength of our business is built on the strength of the athletes across all things. While we're extremely excited about NIL and our college recruiting and everything we're doing there, when you look at NXT, you could see a system that is churning out athletes, incredible athletes, at a very rapid pace. This is another way for us to amplify that. It's to strengthen the independent scene. Now, you guys could determine whether or not you believe him, but I do like the idea of WWE keeping an eye on the independent scene. And I wish AEW also did something like this too, because WWE is giving people a path to the company while also supporting them. Now, let's just be real. Indie wrestling does not pay well. I don't know what the financial terms of the WWE ID program are, but I'm hoping that they are relatively good so that these indie wrestlers don't have to just wrestle for like $50 in a hot dog, right? I also like the idea of WWE being pretty firm in the fact that, hey, if we don't see progress, we're not going to keep you in the system. Now, what I really wonder is who's going to be the first WWE ID talent to actually get a full-time WWE contract. It's still too early in the process. And does WWE prevent people from working AEW? As of right now, there's no answers on that, so we got to wait and see. But I do like this. I am curious to see more, but I'm glad that Triple H actually offered a little bit of an explanation to it. It makes a lot of sense business-wise, and I look forward to seeing if it actually works or not. There are risks to this. I do think in some ways it could work, and I think in some ways it may not work. And I'm hoping it does for the sake of the indie wrestling scene. Okay, let's turn our attention to Penta. He is officially an AEW free agent. He is no longer contracted to the company. He wasn't seen backstage at AEW this past week. As you guys know, Rey Fenix spoke publicly about going and pretty much just waiting it out. But Penta is somebody we don't really know exactly what's going to happen here. I think a lot of people are excited. I think a lot of people are curious. But when it comes to Penta's future, nobody really knows. It's a huge question mark. And quite frankly, it's a little disturbing and it sucks a little bit to see that this whole situation with the Lucha Bros and the AEW company just didn't work out, because Lucha Bros are a phenomenal tag team. But now we're going to have quite a bit of time where Penta is on his own without Rey Fenix. And we know Rey Fenix isn't being used in AEW and there's no plans to use him. So it's very, 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 very unlikely that Penta stays short term with AEW. Now, I think there's two things that can happen here. WWE has a really cool babyface opportunity on SmackDown, meaning they're going to need a babyface challenger for the United States Championship. Now that Shinsuke Nakamura is the champion, I would bring Penta in, and I would actually allow Penta to be a top babyface in the company, bring him in to the company as a singles guy initially. even give him a chance to hold the US championship. Have him beat Shinsuke Nakamura. Let him go 6 to 8 months. Let him defend the belt. Let him do his thing. Then when it is time, I think Jacob Fatu should be the one to actually defeat Penta for the United States Championship, thus leading to Penta and Lucha Bros having to get involved in a tag team feud with the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. This way, WWE can actually have the Lucha Bros go over them, and then they could start their quest to become WWE Tag Team Champions. That's the way I would go about it. WWE needs a babyface that could eventually win the US title from Nakamura, and currently as it stands, Carmelo Hayes is a heel, Andrade is a babyface, but as of this time, there are rumors that they might be turning him heel. Obviously, LA Knight just dropped the belt. They're going to need somebody to come in. Plus, if you think about it, having him come in, become US champion, WWE is going to sell a shit ton of masks. The merchandise sales are going to be insane. It just makes a lot of sense. But his journey with AEW is done. He is gone from the company, and we'll see what happens next. Okay, guys, WWE could be planning a massive character change for Gunther. This is really, really interesting to me because Gunther is one of the best heels in WWE. We obviously saw he successfully defended his belt against Damian Priest, but he was, this is a very interesting thing. His attitude, there was a whole bunch of stuff about Gunther. He wasn't happy with Finn Balor and all this stuff. Now it sounds like they're planting the seed for him to turn babyface. And again, WWE has a variety of top heels in the company, but they are struggling for babyfaces. Gunther has been a massive success as a top heel in the company. And with Braun Breaker kind of leaning towards heel, kind of leaning towards babyface, this is a massive character change because it's very rare that you see Gunther in the babyface role. Also, when you look at it from the perspective of him as World Heavyweight Champion, being a babyface, if WWE is setting up him versus Goldberg, it is very obvious that Goldberg is going to be met with a lot of boos. A lot of people are going to be negative towards him. So maybe they're going to lean into that for Goldberg to be a heel, and then Gunther becomes a babyface. And then I think there's a variety of stories that WWE can actually make post that feud. But this would be a massive change for Gunther. And I think if they're smart and they play this right, we'll have to see what happens with Ludwig, because they are still affiliated. Even though they're not constantly on TV together, they are still affiliated. I think WWE will break them up at some point. Ludwig will go his own way. Maybe even WWE gets to the point where Gunther remains as a babyface, and then who knows, maybe in the future when they are ready for Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther, Ilya performs as a heel. We'll see how it all goes down, but it's a lot of stuff to think about, and I am super excited about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.